Alright, well, welcome to another video for Backroads and Barbecue. On today's video, we're going to do bars and risers on the Lowrider ST. I'm going to give you a disclaimer. I lost some video and a few photos after doing this install, so I don't have a photo like I typically do of the tools used. So I know that I pointed out the tools I used during the video. So just watch the video. I'll point out the tools I'm using while I'm actually doing the install, and then that should help you know which tools you'll need for the bar and riser install on the Lowrider ST. I'm going to do 6-inch Bung King risers with Thrashin Supply high bend bars. I did not have to change my clutch cable or my brake cable. I'll show you how to reroute those in the video, but you do not have to change clutch cable or brake cable for that 6-inch riser and Thrashin Supply high bend bar install. And then I don't have my Lowrider ST anymore, so but I will say this, that after I installed those risers and those bars, I'm 5'6", I had a much more natural, comfortable riding position with that install, and with the Harley Davidson Sundowner seat. That bike was super comfortable to ride. I'll make another video soon saying why I traded that bike out, what I'm riding now, and what we're going to be doing. So let's roll the intro. We'll get into the install, and I'll show you how to put on new risers, new bars on your Lowrider ST. Backroads and barbecue, baby. So before we begin this install, let's look at 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7. It says, casting all your cares on him because he cares about you. And I know for me, I have a real struggle casting my cares upon the Lord because I want to fix everything myself. So it is a constant battle for me to see a situation and to know that I can't fix it, and to go to the Lord in prayer with that situation or with that problem or with that need, and believing and trusting him for the outcome that is within his will. My natural desire is to fix it, solve it, create a plan, start an action step, and then get the result that I wanted. And I have found that many times when I try to intercede, I just make things worse. So as it says in 1 Peter, cast your cares upon him because he cares for you. Go to the Lord in prayer, let him handle it, and believe that when you come to him with these things, that what will be the outcome will be God's will for your life. Let's start this install. Alright, so I just wanted to give you guys a shot of what we're going to be installing on the Lowrider ST. So, I got the Bung King risers with the 2-inch pullback. These are the 6-inch risers, 2-inch pullback, which they are made to reuse the stock gauge clamp and the stock gauge, so no different upper clamp, top clamp, or anything is required. Doing some Avon grips, air cushion. I'm doing the Thrashin Supply high bend bars, which I'm hoping are going to give me a little bit more height and maybe a little bit more of a sweep back than the stock bars, to kind of achieve the height that I want. And then I got some wire sleeve, some braided wire sleeve, just to kind of clean things up for the install. I went through cable kits and I got extensions for the gauge, which I'm not sure I'll need, but I'm going to have it anyways, for the throttle by wire, and then for my right and left side controls. I ordered a clutch cable straight from Harley that is designed for the stock street bob, which when I talked to Thrashin Supply about the height of the bars and the risers, this was their suggestion, so we're going to try that out. and see if that's exactly what's needed, which would be a much easier part to source. I'm waiting on the brake cable. For whatever reason, it's back ordered through Harley. I'm going to go ahead and begin to install and then wait on the brake cable to come. It's also from a stock street bob with ABS, which will go down to that that control box there underneath the lower fork trees. And then since I'm going to take the tank off, I'm going to go ahead and do some Screamin Eagle Fat wires. I went ahead and just kept them black, but I figured since I got the tank off, it's going to be really easy to switch those spark plug cables out and do those at the same time. Another quick shot. I'm going to have links to all of these parts below. So if you want to replicate this build, all these parts below will be linked and ready for you. And then I'm also going to give you a full list of every tool that I use. I'll wait until the end to film that, and then I'll put that at, right after this. I'll give you a full list and shot of all the tools I use for the install. That way you're prepared from the get-go to do this install. Okay, so what I went ahead and did was took everything off the bars. I had a GoPro mount, I had a foam mount. I took off the mirrors, which is just a 1/2 inch bolt right here underneath your controls. Just unscrew that, your mirrors come right off, not a big deal. I got the seat off as well. Just unscrew right back wherever your seat is, depending on which seat you have. Just unscrew that, take your seat off. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take off the fuel tank, and that's going to allow me to access all the wires and everything a lot easier. And then, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and do the spark plug wires while I have it off. So let's go through how to get this fuel tank off, and then we'll get the bars off, get the risers off, and then we'll deal with the cables and everything. Okay, so to remove the fuel tank, you're going to need a Allen in a 9/16 socket. I'll get you the Allen size here in a second. For both the front and the rear, I'm just going to loosen up the front. We're going to completely remove the rear. We're going to prop the tank up a little bit, so that'll allow me to get my hand back in there, unplug the fuel pump relay, and then start the bike, get all the fuel out of the system, and then take the fuel line. So we are using a 5/16 Allen in a 9/16 socket. So I'm going to go ahead and just break this loose. Socket doesn't want to go in there very good. Well, hold on, Adam. Going wrong way. Think about what we're doing here. Wait. Okay, 9/16 socket. Just gonna loosen that up for just right now. Okay, we're gonna switch over. Socket, and just be careful of your tank when you're doing this, because definitely a chance to scratch your tank up. So and the front one, just want to loosen up enough for now, so that way your tank can, there we go, so that way your tank can pivot. Okay, let's get this one removed all the way. Okay, nut off there and your washer. Okay, so your nut and your washer off there, and this bolt's going to pull right out. Need a washer on the other side. Okay, put it back together here. and put it in the box. Okay, so now we're going to be able to move our tank up and down, and just going to take a small piece of wood. Let's see, get it underneath there. Let it rest on there for now. Just enough to allow me to get my hand. Move the camera for you. It's enough to allow me to get my hand here. I'm going to see it right here is your fuel pump relay. Right there. The clip on top. So I'm going to want to pull that clip down. Try to put my eye on it there. Not wanting to come out. I wonder if I can get the tank higher. Okay. Got the tank a little higher up. I'm gonna push down and pull out. There we go. So just got to get that tank a little higher up. Push down on this clip right there, and then pull out. Okay, so now let me go grab the keys. I'm just going to fire the bike up. It actually probably won't even start, but we'll make sure that this fuel in here is used up before we disconnect the fuel line. Okay, let's turn the bike on. Put it in neutral. Okay, that should be enough. So let me back this up just a little bit. Move this back. Okay, so now you need to push up. Let me make sure you can see this. You're going to push up here, and your fuel line is going to come right down. Just like that, and I did get a little bit of fuel. Dang it. Okay. That's what I was wanting to avoid. That was what I was wanting to avoid, but wasn't much. Just grab a towel and wipe it up real quick. No big deal. Okay. We got the fuel line disconnected. Just pushing up on that silver part, pulling down on your connection, and then you're gonna have your vent tube right there as well. Okay, so that's connected, relay's connected, and your fuel line's connected. We are now ready to remove that front bolt and then get the tank completely removed. So I'm going to remove this bracket, or this piece of wood, holding the tank up. Let me pull this up here for you. Right there. Okay, let's get this removed. And if you use there we go. If you use a Allen with a ball end, definitely helps. Okay, make sure I get that washer off. go. Now, get this bolt out. Little wiggle, little jiggle, bolt out. Put the washer and the nut back on. And I got roughly half a tank in here, so hopefully not too heavy. Oh, not bad at all. I'll give you a close-up. So basically, this is what your bike looks like without the tank on. What that's going to do is I can really get to these bolts over here a little bit easier. I'm going to show you how to break those free. Definitely going to get to all these spark plugs easier to put the new spark plugs on, and then this wire where all the wires are right here. Since this fairing's on here, it's a lot harder to get to that, so taking the tank off is going to make that a lot easier. Okay, let's break these free, because since these are two parts, you want to make sure you break them loose before you take this top clamp off, or else they're just going to spin. Alright, so let me show you what I used to get those clamp bolts loose. So I got a 3/4 socket deep well on a swivel. That's going to be an important part. I got 2 extensions, and then I got, so this is kind of, try to back up so you can kind of see, this is kind of the setup here. If you have one long extension, it's probably enough. I had 2 a little bit shorter ones, so I connected them together. But this swivel is going to be really important, because what you're going to need to do is get your wheel turned to one side. I'm going to move the camera over here. So you're going to need with this thing, what I did was I went ahead and took the socket wrench off. You're going to be going under through here. Okay, so you're going to take it up through there, and it's going to come up through here. You're going to be able to, with that swivel on there, get to that 3/4 bolt. With the tank off, you may, if you had a little stubby 3/4 wrench, be able to get to that, but I mean, that's the bolt you're trying to get to, right there. So yeah, you're going to, and I can kind of show you here. Hold on. Okay. So, using this, coming up with the swivel, you may need to use another hand. Get it on there, like that. Okay? So I came up with one hand and I reached through with the other and just guided it on there. And now you can go ahead and loosen it up. I'm going to leave mine right there for now, and then I'm going to loosen up that top clamp. For the top clamp, you're going to use a 1/4 inch Allen. Okay. Go ahead and just break them all loose. going to leave those still attached. So for right and left controls, you're going to need a T27, T25. Your T27s, let's see, should be these here, and then the other ones top here and bottom there will be T25s. Okay, so back that up a little bit. Loosen these up. I'm not going to completely disconnect them yet. Just going to get them loose. And that's your clutch lever. And then your top. Under controls. Okay. If you got one of these little like magnetic screw holders, pretty helpful. And where is my bottom one? There you are. And the bottom one. Okay. So take this bottom one all the way out. Take this top one out, and then it should come apart. And then you're going to use your T27. Go ahead and split clutch clamp all the way apart. And I'm going to lay that clutch lever to the side. I'm actually going to probably put a piece of bubble wrap over it. Just so it doesn't scratch anything. Okay. And then once I get this disconnected, yeah, it's going to be good. Okay, similar on this side. Here's your T27. Going to break loose your master cylinder clamp. Just like that. I'm just going to loosen it. Then I'm going to break loose the control housing. Okay, there's my top. And my bottom is right here. Oops, and drop it. Okay. Okay. Off your control housing. Now, with your 27, go back and take off the master cylinder clamp. I'm trying to stop it from falling. Go ahead and put some bubble wrap on it, just, you know. Tape. Go ahead and tape it up, just so if it flops around, it doesn't hurt anything. Okay. Go ahead and I'm gonna kind of lay it right Okay, then now you're loose. Now your control housing is loose. Both sides are loose, bars are loose. Now we need to go ahead and get to the, so I can get to the wires on the other side, get those disconnected, and then we'll be prepared to pull this whole thing off. Okay, so this is your wire boot. So just kind of gonna pry it loose. Okay, just like that. And you got everything that's in there. You got a fair amount of play in some of it, but not all of it. So just be careful not to rip anything. Just kind of, there we go. That's actually what I wanted. Okay, so you can take it all the way off, set it to the side. Gives you a lot more room to just kind of expose everything. Just be careful on your edges. There you go, and that just kind of opens up too. So what I want to do is kind of take a picture, and then also if I can go ahead and number stuff too, because you don't want to get stuff mixed up when you're putting it back. So let me pause. I'm going to try to blue tape stuff and annotate where it goes, so that way I can put it all back together correctly, and I'll show you how I have that done once I get it done. Okay, something to think about too is once you get your gas tank off, I didn't do this the last time I did bars, but I've seen some other people mention it. So there is the main fuse. Oh, there we go. So this 40 amp, let's pull this cover off and pull that 40 amp. I don't know if you have to, but you know, you are going to be working with the electrical wires and the system, and so I'm just going to pull it just to be safe. So we got that pulled off. Now let's go to the front. We'll look at those wires up front and keep going. Okay, so what I've decided to do is just take them out one by one and then label them, and you may need a little screwdriver just to push down on the tabs. To pull them out. So I'm going to pull this one out. This would be if you had heated grips. Don't. So this should be my right side controls. I'm going to pull those up through, just kind of identifying which one it is, like that. And then I can pull it through the bars. Yeah, I may need to do the other one first, and then just take a little piece of blue tape like that and a little pin, and for right controls I'll just put an RC right there, and then I'll know that's where the right side controls go in. Let's see, this should be my gauge cluster. Push on that tab. Come on. Okay. And that's white. That's going to be pretty obvious which one that is. So I'm not going to worry about labeling that one. Obviously you can if you want to. And this should be my last one. So this one has 2, and this will be your throttle by wire. There we go. And that one has 2 there. No. This, that's your right side controls. So I actually have them backwards. Where's my pen? Scratch that out. And write T for throttle. Okay, T for throttle. They are different enough that you shouldn't get them mixed up, but you know, if you're doing this over the stage of a couple nights or even a couple weekends, like I'm going to have to because my brake line isn't in, I'm not going to take the chance of getting stuff mixed up when I put it back. Okay, so I got everything loose. Let's go back up top and we will now be able to pull the bars off. Okay, now that you have all the wires, pull through the triple tree. Just get a 1/4 inch in. Come on. Go ahead and finish removing top clamp. Even though I'm not putting these bars back on, I'm still being careful not to scratch them up because you never know if you're going to want to reuse them. Or, you know, never done this, but I guess some people actually could if they went to sell their bike. Take their parts back off. And more power to you if you can. I just don't know if I've ever done that. Okay, so pull the top clamp off, pull your bars off. Okay, so now that your bars are off, go ahead and pull off your grips. The other side might be glued on. No. Which is fine, I don't need it anyways. I'm thinking, so with the throttle by wire, you want to be really careful. It actually doesn't even want to pull out. I know it's really easy to mess that up quickly. So this is where you got 2 things of wires coming through. So you want to be, okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull the right side controls through first. And thankfully with these bars, I hope I can. They don't have any, ooh, ouch. Oh, they pulled through okay. Just, yeah, they kind of just came through. The real concern is any sharp edges to, that's got a nasty little bend in it. Weird. Any sharp edges to cut your wires. So right side controls are through. The throttle by wire, pull on it. Like I said, just be careful. I know that these connections on the end can be fragile, and I think that's where a lot of people have the biggest issue is something happens. Okay, pull it through, and now we'll get the new bars and run the wires through. Okay, so now we got the bars off. We're going to go back after the risers. So again, using that funky setup of coming through front and then in the other hand get it where it needs to be. Because you gotta have them turn correctly. Let's go back to this side. Okay. So there we go. Use your hand. Guide it. Right there. Socket wrench down there. And I got a towel on top of my front fender. I can actually just start turning this by hand. Looks like. Excellent. Okay. So that's going to pull out. Set that to the side, and then I'm going to want to make sure. Yeah. Washer and nut. So that's going to be a little tricky. I think you're going to want to start it by hand when we put them back on, and then go underneath and tighten it up. Okay, let's do the other side. Same thing. Coming up through. Go. I wonder if I can just hold it. Yeah, I'm just holding it now. But break them loose like I did, and then when it's time to take them off, ooh, that's actually just unscrewing from the, not really what I wanted. That out with the there we go. Okay, that one came undone, so I'm gonna have to clamp onto that and get that. Okay, we got the bars off, top clamp off, wires out, throttle control, all that stuff. We got them labeled. We got the clutch brake off. And we got our stock riders off. Alright, so we're going to record inside because it is hot out in my garage. But so basically, we're going to run the wires through the new bars. So I'm just taking some 550 cord polypro and just cut off a piece that was, you know, 3-4 inches longer here, 3-4 inches longer there. Enough to tie on to the end of your cable, and then you can just tie it on, and then there we go, and then go ahead and pull it. Well, in theory, pull it through. There we go. So it should come through fairly quick. What's nice about these bars as opposed to doing apes is that there's hardly any bends, so not too hard to pull these through. The tricky side's going to be tricky side will be the throttle side that has two sets going through. Definitely a lot easier with these that don't have the turn signals as well. So, and then kind of set up there. So on the other side, so let's think. I think the best thing to do on this side, go and run the cord through. And then what I'm going to do, okay, burnt them, fuse them together. Now, I'm going to go through as one. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of a snag or something in there. There we go. Okay. Make sure we're okay. So I fused them together right here. So now, and that's actually fine. They can stay fused together. What I'm going to do, so go ahead and tie this end on to the throttle by wire. And then I want to pull one of these through. Let's see. Here. And I'm going to tie that end on to the right side controls. So I'm going to start pulling. Right side controls through. Here we'll go to the floor. Start pulling the throttle control through. So now up. Oh man, I boogered it up. Ow. Come on. Okay. Well, got him through. Just don't know if I have somehow here is how we look. So we are ready to go out, and what I may do is something I did last time too, is plug all these in, make sure, go back out to the bike, and let's hook everything up, check the controls. It will probably trip a bunch of codes at first because not everything's hooked up, and that's not abnormal. We'll just need to reset those at the end.